All right, everyone, let me start the video with a confession. I suck today finding stuff, but I'm still optimistic for tomorrow. This is a watch this video for Tuesday. I can't believe I'm going to say this, April 1st. Let me throw this up here real quick. You see the SPY, I'm going to put this horizontal line here, right? You had a few days down in a row and then gapping down below support, right? There's the support from the other day, and look what happens. And then let me throw this up here. It's a good example. That's what happened today. Gap down below support after a few days down, and what happened? A big green day. Few days down here, taking out recent lows. What did it do? It ran for like a couple weeks. Back here, took out these lows right here on the gap down and popped. And you had the same thing basically here on the gap down, right? Below these lows and started to rally. So it's really not uncommon what it did. I would say a lot of people probably hit out of longs, as Kevin said today, and people shorted the market, and the market never makes anything easy for the masses, right? So there you have it. Let me throw this up here for new faces in the chat. Please pause the video and read that. And then I would argue, in addition to just the technicals of the gap down below support and then the rally, there's one other reason. I would argue one man caused this rally, and I'll put up a screenshot of that. Jim Cramer. I can't think of a dumber day to buy stocks than today. That alone, Jim Cramer, you could argue caused today's rally. All right. Anyway, Sahil made a nice call today in TEM. I had a nice after hours heads up for those of you that hung around. I didn't give an entry. But I posted that CSAI just had earnings, and you could have caught it in the opening 5 minutes of that. I'll show you that real quick. CSAI. Remember, this had that crazy pop to 52 bucks and then just went into what I call nothingness, but they had earnings after hours. And as I'm talking to you, it's trading at 625. We go to 5-minute candle. So anyone in chat probably could have had it on that opening 5-minute candle after earnings, because I posted it in chat. CSAI, former runner, had earnings, whatever, and is doing really well. So it's one of my top watches tomorrow, assuming it holds the gap up, and I think it will, right? It's a beaten up stock, and then again, everybody knows this thing ran to 52 back here. Top watch tomorrow, all right? What else do we have? ALMS did break that $6, but it did it. If you look at 5-minute candles, aggravating, really. I told you in last night's video I liked it over 6. Look at 5-minute candles. It broke that right at the end of the day. So I'm not going to do anything with that. But you had this big pop, the gap down, and another pop, and now it's, up near recent highs. One of my top watches for tomorrow, in addition to CSAI. HMST, big rip. We're day traders. We want to focus on stocks that are in play. I would say that chart meets the parameters. WOOF, big pop, red day, and is already curling back up, so that one goes on watch. DATS, today topped out at 389, and Friday 393. So it's certainly interesting over this horizontal line there. So we want to watch DATS. I even threw Amazon on there. I mean, so many charts look the same because the overall market, is kind of in control right now. And I'm a big fan of looking for individual stories. But AMZN had the gap down and then a nice green candle. Certainly could continue that bounce tomorrow. It's a big name. I went ahead and threw an airline on there too, because these are another scenario like that, right? Breaking below support today, but then closing green. Could have a nice follow through day. This one hurt my feelings. This is Newsmax. IPO'd today at 14 and went to 83. By the way, I actually hit 100 in after hours. Had I been sitting on that when it IPO'd, I didn't realize it only had, I want to say like 10 million shares in the float, maybe 7 million, I can't remember, but a small float for that, right? I think I would have nibbled on some of that at the open. It doesn't matter now though, but crazy action. This is one to keep on your list for the next month. I would love to see it come way back down, and then it could give us a nice bounce play setup. But anyway, DBVT Had the gap up yesterday, sold way off the high, closed way off the highs, and then a nice pop today. It does feel extended, obviously, but I do want to watch it. ICCT, big pop today, could have a follow-through day tomorrow. Really nice idea by Frank in after hours. Met all the parameters we look for. As I said to Frank, I was in the kitchen at the time, but really nice idea. VRRM, also big move, but certainly worth watching the rest of the week. CoreWeave just came public, CRWV. So you've only got 2 days to go on. And I'm just going to treat it like a bounce play. You had the big pop yesterday, and today gap down. Just going to treat it like a bounce play. My favorite setup on a bounce play is if we get a narrow range, for the first couple hours and then a break of that range to the upside. But anyway, it goes on watch. Oust, OUST, another red day, just goes back on bounce watch. No trades in it today. And then a couple gappers, PSTV. Well, I should say one because I've already mentioned CSAI. That was the other one. PSTV. As I'm talking, he was trading in $1.14, so not much of a gap. Let's go to 5-minute candles real quick, and I'll show you why it made the list. At the time, it was up at like $1.25. It's a recent high flyer. Just keep it on your radar, but I'm not in love with it because it's not very strong now and after hours. That's it for me. I'll see you guys in the pre-market. We'll add some gappers to this list, and I'll see you in the morning.